Surprise! I'm not dead. Hello everyone! My name is Domo and this is Mondays on my channel. So welcome back to the land of good audio and semi-good video quality. Awesome. Everything is good. Nobody should be complaining about these. I don't want tweets, text messages, or Facebook messages about anything that's wrong in my video this week. Thank you. On with the video. In case you're wondering why this video is called My Body Hates Me, it's because within the past couple of weeks I have not only been crippled, but I have also caught the plague, and not the actual plague, but pretty darn close because it was awful. And I'm still sick, but it's not as bad. And when I decided to film this video and I thought about the idea, I was thinking of filming it within the next couple of weeks because that's how bad I felt. So this is kind of like a story time slash explanation of why I thought I was dying. So here we go. This all started about a couple weeks ago when I started having knee pain again. And I don't know if I've said this before, but sometimes when my knees hurt, they hurt really bad, it's severe, and it hurts to walk and it hurts to bend them. Sitting in some of my videos, I would have to stop filming and stretch them out, because if not, they would get all locked up and it was very uncomfortable. So I bought a knee brace, and I only bought one because I figure some days my left knee hurts more than my right knee, so on those days I'll wear my brace on my left knee, and then the days where my right knee hurts more, I'll wear it on my right knee, so that way I'm not it's not so bad. But I bought it and I left it at home before I went back to college. And if you don't know, I go on campus 4 days a week, and I live in the dorms, and then I come back home on Fridays. So for me to forget it Monday morning and then not get it until Friday afternoon, it was a very awful time period of my life. Then I decided my second best option was to go to the doctor's office on campus, so they could be here's some ibuprofen, or this is what you should do, here are some suggestions, because pretty much all that happens with me when my knees hurt, I take some ibuprofen, I ice it, and I go on about my business, and I'll probably put a brace on it, but most of the time I don't. So I wanted some medical advice to be hey, this is what's actually wrong and this is what we're gonna have to do. But that didn't happen when I went. I went to the doctor and I laid there for a while, and the guy rotated my leg a little bit and was hey, you have a soft tissue problem, but I can't be for sure because you have to go get x-rays or an MRI, and an MRI is very expensive. So I was okay, and I understand that my college campus is pretty small, so we don't have technology to go to get an x-ray on campus. I kind of get that, I kind of don't get that, based on how much I have to pay every year for them to not have some sort of medical equipment. But that's besides the point. Different rant, different story. So that wasn't the problem. I figured I was gonna have to get x-rays, which is why I was planning on going to the doctor at home, because then it's a boom boom one-stop shop. They're oh, your knees hurt, cool, let's take you to get an x-ray, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna prescribe you some medication, and then you're gonna go pick up the medication downstairs, and then you're gonna be done. The doctor's oh, here is where the place that you should get x-rays is. So I've already set it up, you just have to go over there, get your x-rays done, and then come back to me, make an appointment so you can see me, and then I can tell you what's wrong, right? And that's a problem, because first year students are not allowed to have cars on campus, right? So that means I would have to take the bus, which means I would have to walk to the bus stop to get on the bus, and then the bus doesn't even go to the place where I was supposed to get my x-rays. It's down the street, so then I'd have to walk, which none of this would be a problem if it didn't hurt to walk, and if the doctor's remedy for my recent knee pain was just stay off your knees. I'm just gonna not use my knees. I'm gonna walk with my calves and everything else, but my knees, because obviously my knees are the problem. So you know what you should do to solve it? Just don't use them. Not I have to walk to class or anything. It's not I have to walk up a huge hill to go to class, or I have to walk upstairs to get to my dorm sometimes, or I don't know, I have to walk to the bathroom. So you want me to not use my knees? Do you understand the anger that was going through my head? And so I was whatever. I just I worked with it. I was okay, I'm just not gonna go to the gym, I'm not gonna do this stuff. And I was okay, fine, whatever. Not gonna overwork my knees this week, because obviously they're no help. And then I get home for the weekend, and I thought, the worst of my troubles is behind me. I have my knee brace, I have some ibuprofen, life is good. And then I get hit with the plague. I didn't actually have the plague, I just had like a severe sore throat and a really bad cough. It was actually just an escalated cold, and I had a fever. But it turns out I just had bronchitis. I went to the doctor, and they're like, hey, you have bronchitis. But the story as to how I ended up going to another doctor is this. So, the first day back on campus on Monday, I was like, ew, my throat feels a little icky. I should probably, like, do something about it. So I, like, started, like, using my inhaler like I usually do when I have, like, a really bad cough. Because, like, it was, like, I would cough, and I couldn't stop coughing for, like, a minute straight. So it was, like, it was bad. So, on Monday, it was just, like, the peak of things. It was kind of just like, oh, hey, my throat kind of itches. I'm going to cough a lot. I'm going to use my inhaler. And then Tuesday, I was like, I feel really warm. I might have a fever. But, like, they always tell you, like, wait a couple days before going to the doctor if you have a fever. Because, like day one, they're not going to be able to tell you anything, obviously. So, I, like, took, aspirin and watched some teens react. And, like, my fever started breaking. So I was like, oh, this is good. Like, 'cause usually when I'm sick, I get, like, a fever. It breaks within 24 hours, and I'm back to doing what I'm doing. But for some reason, that didn't happen. So by Wednesday, I was, like, coughing, like, really bad. And, like, I woke up, and my throat, like, hurt so bad. Like, it felt like it was on fire, and, like, it was just awful. But then Thursday morning, I woke up, and I had a writing class to go to. But my throat was not feeling it. My head was not feeling it. Like, everything was just very, very icky, and I felt very sick. So I was like, all right, time to go back to the health center on campus because that's what they're here for. Like, I'm sick and dying. They should tell me to do something and, like, you know, prescribe me something. So I go to the health center where everybody is wearing a mask when I walk in. So I'm assuming that this is some kind of, like, conspiracy type thing where they're all just trying to make us sick and then do nothing about it because that's obviously what happened. So I go into the doctor's office and I tell her my symptoms. And keep in mind, Wednesday I had finally gotten fed up with myself and I bought some Dayquil because I was tired of coughing and I need something to stop the cough, because if you stop the cough, then your throat won't hurt as much and then you won't have a fiery throat feeling. You know, like, that's how it works. So I go to the doctor and they usually ask you, like, the dumb questions like, smoke, do you drink, are your chances you're pregnant, and also what medications are you taking. So I said, oh, I've been taking aspirin and Dayquil to, like, keep my fever off and, like, stop my coughing and, you know, stuff like that. So I tell it to the nurse and then I tell it to the doctor. And so they do, like, the normal things when you have, like, a really bad cough. Like, they tested me for strep and mono, which I figured I don't have those because, like, strep throat possibly, but mono, like, come on now, like, who have I been kissing? Like, I mean, come on. So first, the doctor comes in and she's like, well, before we test you for strep, we're gonna give you some ibuprofen to break your fever. Which, I mean, like, it's fine, because that's what I wanted. Like, I needed something to, like, help me a little bit so I wouldn't be, like, all, like, delusional and drowsy all day. So I was like, okay, that'll help. Then they come back and they test me for strep, which is when they, like, swab your throat, and that was negative. So then they tested me for mono, which was also negative, which, I mean, okay, whatever, cool. So then the doctor comes back and she's like, well, it's not strep, and it's not mono, so I don't know what it could be. You're a doctor. Your options were strep and mono. Those are the only two things you could possibly think of. And none of them were right, so you don't think to go look for more answers? After that, she was like, okay, so here's a doctor's note, because, you know, like, you can't go to class if you have a fever because you're contagious and you feel other people sick. And then she goes, so I don't think you should be taking Dayquil, because, like, that's not going to do anything. Except maybe, I don't know, suppress my cough, lady. So you should just take, like, a Aleve or Tylenol or something. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. So I believe her because she's a doctor, and, like, you know, doctors do that doctoring thing where they're like, hey, this is what's good for you. So then Fridays, I usually leave in the morning, so I get up to leave that morning, and I still feel, like, kind of icky. I was, like, I didn't want to talk because, like, my throat hurt so bad. My roommates were trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, I can't do this, okay? Like, my throat hurts, and you are trying to hold a more than 2-second conversation with me. and I don't want to have it. So I just don't understand why you guys are still talking. Like, especially if my throat hurts. Like, unless I talk to you first, I don't want to talk because it probably hurts really bad. So I go home on Friday and like I'm like dying. Like I'm coughing, like I'm like all droopy eyed, I have a fever, I'm like laying down everywhere. It was just bad. So I finally like get home and I like sleep for a while and I go pick my brother up because he got sick too. And like it was just all bad. And then my mom was like, call urgent care and see if you can have an appointment thingy at the thingy so you can get better. Right, because obviously the doctors didn't know what they were doing. So then I go to urgent care Saturday morning at 8:35 in the morning, and I walk in, and the little lady doctor, like the little nurse, she weighs me and she tells me to wear a mask because like the other doctor is pregnant and I don't want to get her sick. And then I go into the doctor's office, like the thing where they like examine you and stuff, and the doctor like looks in my ears, does this thingy that they do to make sure like your thingies are all okay and you don't have like any swollen node thingies. And then she like looks at my throat, she's like, oh, you have bronchitis. 5 minutes, I kid you not. I was in that doctor's office for 5 minutes. The longest thing that it took me to do was check into urgent care and get my prescription. 5 minutes. I was in there 5 minutes and they diagnosed me with bronchitis, you know? And they're like, hey, here's some amoxicillin, some cough syrup, and some cough drops. But on the college campus, I was in the doctor's office for like an hour and they didn't know what it could be. Essentially, I am never going back to the doctor's office on campus unless it's like serious life or death, unless I'm like bleeding out of my side. I'm not going back because obviously they told me not to walk on my legs or use my knees and to not take Dayquil when it could have helped me. And obviously it could have helped me because I have bronchitis. So that's it for my Storytime video. It was a very interesting experience. These past couple weeks have been a medical roller coaster and I'm not entirely sure what next week has to hold for me, but hopefully it's nothing worse than last week because I can't do it anymore. Yeah, so I'm gonna go. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and give this video a big thumbs up and share it with all of your friends. Please, like, if you want your friends to experience how awesome I am, then I suggest you share it with all of them on all your social media. Also, while you're on your social media, follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I will be more active this week. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, once again, give it a thumbs up and tweet me about it. Like, if you liked it, tweet me about it, you know? Like, do something. I need people to interact with on Twitter. Do it. So, I will see you guys next Monday.